On my wedding day with Zack Wilson, his best friend Mia appeared before me with a huge pregnant belly. She looked at me with tears streaming down her face. Olivia, you already have everything. Can you please let Zack go? I'm already carrying his child. I ripped off my veil and threw it to the ground, my demeanor full of contempt. Turning around, I saw the panic in Zack's eyes. I thought to myself, he must have remembered our agreement. If anything went wrong with this wedding, all his assets would become mine. Zack and I had known each other for 5 years, from campus to the wedding dress. Countless people envied our love. We were a perfect match from similar backgrounds, both talented and good-looking, a match made in heaven. I had heard such praise countless times, but I never took it to heart, because I knew Zack had someone else in his heart. He and Mia had known each other for 10 years, 5 years longer than me. Strangely, he and Mia always referred to each other as brothers, as if their relationship was so pure it hadn't been tainted by a hint of romance. Later, they were admitted to the same university and the same major. But for some reason, in his freshman year, Zack pursued me, someone from a different department. At that time, I still had some fantasies about campus romance. Zack was handsome, good-tempered, and polite. So, in the second month of his pursuit, I agreed to date him. After a blissful week together, I noticed there was someone very odd around him. Mia, a girl with an ordinary pretty face and short hair. On one hand, she called me sister-in-law, but on the other hand, she would drape her arm around Zack's shoulders and say, "You're amazing. You found such a beautiful girlfriend so quickly. Do you have any secret techniques you can teach me?" Mia was a head shorter than Zack, so when she put her arm around his shoulders, her mouth naturally came close to his ear. They were so close they could feel each other's breath. It was extremely intimate, but Zack seemed completely used to it and didn't mind at all. The first time I saw it, there was naturally a second and third time. I couldn't understand why Zack still had such an intimate female friend after getting a girlfriend. At first, I thought I was overthinking it and brought it up with him privately a few times. To my surprise, Zack's answer left me speechless. Mia and I have been best friends for 5 or 6 years. We've always been like this. I can't distance myself from her just because I have a girlfriend now. That would be an insult to our pure friendship. I also talked to Mia about it. Her response made me think she was an idiot. What are you talking about? Zack and I have been best friends for so many years. How did that turn into some sappy romance in your mind? Romance is only suitable for Zack to have with girls like you. Mia hesitated a bit at the end. It seemed difficult for her to call someone taller than her, with a more mature face and a womanly figure, a girl. Fine, if that's your pure friendship, I won't get involved. I quickly broke up with Zack. I originally thought we could part ways amicably and hopefully never see each other again. Who knew this jerk Zack wouldn't agree to break up? Are you out of your mind? I've said break up, break up, break up. Why do you still come to my classroom building to wait for me every day? It's one thing if you came alone. I pointed at Mia and voiced my deepest confusion. But why did you bring your so-called best friend? Are you brainless? Can't you think for yourself and need her to give you advice on everything? My outburst showed how angry I was. Zack pretended to be an honest guy and scratched his head. I thought since you're both girls, she might understand your emotions better, so Mia chimed in from behind him. That's right, please don't misunderstand him. Get lost. I was in the middle of a PE class at the time. In the heat of the moment, I hurled the basketball I was holding hard at Zack. Fate is the most magical thing in this world, and ill fate is no exception. When my parents took me to apologize to Zack, what a coincidence, the two families actually knew each other. Oh, is this Olivia? You've grown so big. When you were just a tiny little thing, I held you in my arms. Do you remember Uncle Wilson? It turned out my dad and Zack's dad had been best friends since college. If the Wilson family hadn't gone overseas to start their business, Zack and I might have gotten together even earlier. But my mom's expression when looking at Mr. Wilson was a bit strange, too. She hid behind my dad's back, unusually silent. My foolish dad didn't notice anything amiss. After some polite chit-chat, Zack and my relationship quickly became known to both families. Olivia, my son is just awkward and doesn't know how to treat his girlfriend well. If he does anything to upset you, feel free to teach him a lesson. Here, Mr. Wilson flicked Zack's injured forehead. That's what he deserves. Let him learn his lesson. But his tone changed. Don't miss out on your perfect match over some unworthy people. I stood in the hospital room filled with the strong smell of disinfectant, staring at Zack who was smiling foolishly at me with annoyance. Was I blind before? How could I have thought this guy looked decent? He looks just like his dad. I looked at Mr. Wilson again, handsome, gentle and refined, polite, but his gaze was staring at my mom like a venomous snake. That night, I went to my mom's room to find her. She was sitting in her huge luxurious bedroom, silently crying while looking at the moon. Mom, what's wrong? You didn't say a word during dinner. That's not like you at all. My dad had gone out for a business dinner again. Now in this mansion, I was the only one who could have a heart-to-heart talk with Mom. It's nothing. Mom wiped away her tears and smiled at me. I just remembered some sad things from the past. Don't worry about me. Go to bed early. Don't you have an 8 a.m. class tomorrow? I took Mom's hand and said gently, Mom, I saw everything today. Mr. Wilson Mom's whole body trembled and she immediately interrupted me. No, don't say it. Later, I only left after watching Mom fall asleep. Zack and I got back together, under the strangely enthusiastic matchmaking of his father. I don't know if his dad said something to him, but Mia started appearing around us less and less frequently. Valentine's Day came, and Zack ordered a big bouquet of roses for me. Thank you. I leaned into Zack's arms with a shy expression, then gently kissed his cheek.